The story begins by showing a high school student named Jerry Mitchell who wakes up late, and at that time, Jerry wakes up because his sister Jessie wakes him up. Because he woke up late that day, Jerry didn't take a shower and immediately took his favorite shirt. But the shirt isn't dry yet, so Jerry puts it in the microwave. After the shirt was dried, Jerry put it on and went to school in his mother's car, because his own car had a flat tire. On the way, Jerry picks up his girlfriend, Franny. While Franny was chatting with Jerry, suddenly a beautiful girl named Karen passed by. Because Karen is so beautiful, Jerry is fascinated by her and looks at her without minding his girlfriend. So focused on looking at Karen, without realizing, Jerry ran a red light. But luckily, Jerry was able to dodge quickly so he didn't get hit by another car. And this made Franny amazed at Jerry because her boyfriend was very good at driving a car. At school, it can be seen that all the students are busy talking about the delinquent student who just transferred to their school, and that student is Buddy Revell. Buddy Revell is very famous and feared by all students at any school because of his brutality. Even today, not a single student has been able to beat him because Buddy is very good at fighting. Just like the other students, Jerry's sister also talked about Buddy Revell. And suddenly, at that time, Buddy Revell came to school, making Jerry and the other students amazed because Buddy was really scary. He didn't look like a student, but more like a thug. As a model student at that time, Jerry was trusted to look after the school's bookstore. He told Mr. Alex that this week he had a sum of $470. After Mr. Alex left, Karen came to buy books and pens. Because Jerry likes Karen, he deliberately buys time by offering her another book so he can have a long chat with Karen. But unfortunately, when Jerry was about to take change, the cash drawer was actually locked, so it couldn't be opened. This made Jerry feel embarrassed until finally, Karen gave the change to Jerry. When he was about to enter class, Jerry met his best friend, Vincent. At that time, Vincent told Jerry to approach Buddy and make an article about his life story as writing material to be published in the newspaper. The reason Vincent did this was because Buddy has a perfect record, where every time he fights, he never loses. He even broke the necks of several students. While in class, a teacher named Mary informs her students that she and Vincent have decided to choose Jerry to sing and welcome Buddy. Hearing that, Jerry immediately asked permission to go to the toilet because he didn't want to do it. While on the toilet, Jerry accidentally met Buddy, and stupidly, Jerry greeted Buddy, who was a quiet person. Jerry even told Buddy that he wanted to interview and write Buddy's life story. After saying that, Jerry confidently patted Buddy's arm and made Buddy angry because he didn't want anyone to touch him. Buddy immediately lifted up and cornered Jerry, saying that he didn't want to be interviewed because he didn't want anyone to know about his life story. Because Jerry had dared to disturb Buddy's life. Then, Buddy asked Jerry to duel at 3 p.m. in the parking lot. And if Jerry dared to tell the teacher, then Buddy would not hesitate to make this matter worse. And if Jerry runs away, then Buddy will continue to chase him. Hearing Buddy's words, Jerry was immediately frightened so that he peed in his pants. After that, Jerry told this to Vincent and Franny. Jerry told them, even though Buddy asked him to fight, Jerry would not fight him. Then at that time, Jerry approached Buddy. Jerry said that he didn't want to fight against Buddy, and Jerry promised that he would never dare to write about Buddy's life story and would never dare to touch his hand again. Even though Jerry had said that, Buddy still asked him to fight at 3 p.m., and it turns out that Buddy's words were heard by the other students who were there. Vincent didn't want his best friend to get beat up by Buddy, so he then put a knife in Buddy's locker to get Buddy expelled from school. But after the knife was put in Buddy's locker, Jerry instead told Vincent to take the knife back, because Vincent's actions could make Buddy even more angry at Jerry. However, unfortunately, when Vincent was about to take the knife back, the recess bell suddenly rang, and that made Jerry very scared. Jerry was so afraid that day, so he decided to run away. However, when Jerry gets in the car, he is shocked because he finds the knife that Vincent kept in Buddy's locker, now on the steering wheel of his car. And at that time, Jerry also found a piece of paper that said that he would not be able to escape, and inevitably, at 3 p.m., he had to wait for Buddy in the parking lot. When he found out about this, Jerry immediately realized that it was Buddy's doing. When Jerry tries to start his car and wants to run away, his car won't start because it turns out that the ignition cable was cut off by Buddy. Even though the car doesn't start, Jerry decides to keep running away. But unluckily, Jerry was caught by a bald school security guard named Duke. Jerry tried to lie by saying that he would find a mechanic because his car broke down. But Duke then replied if Jerry really wanted to leave, why didn't he ask the teacher's permission first? and after that, Jerry said that he would ask his teacher for permission now. At that time, Duke intended to accompany Jerry, but Jerry, who actually wanted to run away, refused Duke's offer until finally Duke chased him. As a result of his careless actions, Jerry was caught, and again, unfortunately, Duke checked Jerry's trouser pocket and found a knife. Jerry was caught, and the knife was immediately taken by Duke. Jerry tries to explain that the knife is not his. Apart from that, Jerry also showed a piece of paper containing terror from Buddy against him. But Duke, who wants to make a face in front of the principal, instead throws the paper away and then takes Jerry to the office of Mr. Dolinsky, the Dean of Discipline. Then Mr. Dolinsky asks what Jerry will do with the switchblade. Because he was afraid of being punished, Jerry told the truth that the switchblade was not his, but belonged to Vincent, who deliberately put it in Buddy's locker so that Buddy would be expelled from school. Buddy knows that and then puts the switchblade on Jerry's steering wheel along with a piece of paper containing threats and invitations to fight at 3 p.m. in the parking lot. Hearing this story, Mr. Dolinsky did not believe Jerry. He even suspected that Jerry would secretly kill a student. Mr. Dolinsky reveals that from now on, he will keep an eye on Jerry so that Jerry's plans fail. After leaving Mr. Dolinsky's room, Jerry met a student named Jason. Here, Jason asks Jerry to be strong against Buddy for 3 minutes, because he has a bet with his friends. Hearing that, Jerry felt emotional and intended to hit Jason, but Vincent immediately stopped him. Then, at that time, Jerry asked Vincent to find out where someone named Craig was. In addition, Jerry also asked Vincent to ring a fake bell so that Jerry could meet Craig. When Jerry was already in class, Vincent lit a fake bell so that Jerry and the other students left the class. After searching everywhere, Jerry finally found out where Craig was. Jerry immediately approached him. Jerry says that he really needs Craig's help, so Buddy Revell doesn't want him to fight. Craig then replied that he was willing to help Jerry for a fee of $450. Hearing that, Jerry immediately agreed because he didn't want to be battered and beaten by Buddy. And because Jerry didn't have enough money, he was desperate to enter the bookstore and intended to steal the money. However, because the cash drawer was locked, Jerry found it difficult, so he tried some ways to open it. After trying hard and making the place a mess, Jerry finally managed to open the lock. Because his mind was in a mess, Jerry didn't think about it, so he immediately took the money and left. At the same time, you can see Mr. Dolinsky announcing that all students should return to class, because the bell that was earlier was fake. But before entering class, Jerry first gave money to Craig as wages for beating up Buddy. While in class, Mr. Alex called Jerry and took him to the bookstore. Mr. Alex said that the place was messy and someone stole the money. At that time, Mr. Alex was angry and said that whoever had the courage to do this, Mr. Alex would not hesitate to expel the student from school. Hearing that, with a shiver, Jerry agreed. Here Mr. Alex doesn't know that actually the student who has stolen the money is Jerry, the model student he has always trusted. At lunchtime, Jerry and Vincent peeked at Craig, who was approaching Buddy. Being a manly man, Craig didn't hit Buddy right away. However, he gave Buddy a warning beforehand, that from now on Buddy could no longer dare to ask Jerry to duel, because Jerry was no match for him. But without saying anything, cruel Buddy broke Craig's fingers and beat him until Craig was in great pain. Seeing that, Jerry felt scared and immediately went to the toilet. Jerry immediately sat down limply, and not long after, Vincent and Jerry's sister came. Vincent tells Jerry that Craig returned Jerry's money because his attempt to stop Buddy failed. But out of pity, Vincent gave $100 to Craig. Hearing that, Jerry scolded Vincent because the money was the result of his stealing from the bookstore. Seeing Jerry, who was angry, Vincent was annoyed and dropped the money and left Jerry. After Vincent leaves, Jessie advises her brother not to fight Buddy, and it is better for Jerry to run away. But Jerry replied that he couldn't run away because he was being watched by Mr. Dolinsky, because he was caught carrying Vincent's knife. Knowing this, Jessie orders Jerry to cause trouble in class so that Jerry is punished and doesn't go home during school hours, and that will allow Jerry to escape Buddy's challenge. Realizing that his sister's suggestion made sense, Jerry calmed down a bit. Then, while in class, there was a beautiful teacher named Miss Farmer. She asked one of her students to come to the front of the class and explain about the textbook they had just read. At that time, it seemed that Jerry was not as shy as before. Confidently, Jerry stepped forward and took his friend's cigarette. While smoking, Jerry explained that the book he had just read was very good, so it made his mind open and could see the future well. After explaining about the book with great courage, Jerry suddenly kissed Miss Farmer in front of the other students. Of course, that shocked Miss Farmer. and after his sanity returned, Jerry was frightened by what he had just done, so he immediately fainted. When he woke up, Jerry was already in the treatment room. Then, Jerry asked the nurse if Miss Farmer left a message for him to come see her, because earlier he had dared to be rude to Miss Farmer. However, the nurse said that Miss Farmer was not talking about any punishment for Jerry. Miss Farmer even praised Jerry's explanation about the textbook as being very good. Apart from that, Miss Farmer also left her phone number for Jerry and told Jerry to come to her house tonight. Hearing that, Jerry felt happy, but on the other hand, he also felt annoyed because his efforts to avoid Buddy's challenge didn't work. After leaving the treatment room, Jerry meets Karen, the woman he has always wanted. After hearing the news that Jerry dared to kiss Miss Farmer in class, Karen, who secretly likes Jerry, feels even more confident about accepting Jerry's love. At that time, Karen also asked Jerry to come to her birthday party, which will be held tomorrow night. Of course, this made Jerry feel very happy and immediately accepted it. Meanwhile, Franny, Jerry's girlfriend, hears that Jerry kissed Miss Farmer in class. Franny invites Jerry to meet at the bookstore and asks him to kiss her so that Jerry doesn't turn to other women. However, Jerry refuses and makes Franny upset. Here it is revealed that apparently, so far Jerry has not really loved Franny, but has only used her when he is lonely. After Franny left, Mr. Alex came to the place, bringing a police officer named Stallone to investigate the case of missing money at the bookstore. At that time, Stallone told Jerry that he already suspected that the culprit was not another student, but the student who had been entrusted with managing the bookstore. Realizing that Stallone already knew what he was doing, Jerry felt very scared and immediately asked permission to leave. While on a math test, Buddy asked Jerry to give him a cheat sheet. Because Jerry was scared, he was forced to tell the answer. But unfortunately, at that time, their actions were discovered by their teacher, Mr. Bobby. Then Mr. Bobby ordered them both to face Mr. Marcus. Because Jerry was afraid of Buddy, so in the end, Jerry was forced to cover up Buddy's mistake by telling Mr. Marcus that he was the one who cheated on Buddy. Hearing that, Mr. Marcus, who is a meticulous teacher, does not immediately believe Jerry's confession. So to test the truth, Mr. Marcus gave Buddy 2 questions to fill in, and it turned out that Buddy could answer the 2 questions correctly. This made Jerry feel cheated, because apparently Buddy could fill in all the answers on the test, and Buddy deliberately asked Jerry to cheat to frame him, so that Jerry would be considered a delinquent and hated by all the teachers at the school. After Buddy left, Mr. Marcus said that he was disappointed in Jerry because he did not expect that Jerry, who had been praised so far, would actually cheat Buddy, who had been working hard to think for an answer. Here Mr. Marcus doesn't know that it was actually Buddy who deliberately framed Jerry. But Jerry also can't do anything, because he himself has admitted cheating. Then Mr. Marcus said that he also knew about the case of the missing money at the bookstore, and also about Jerry secretly carrying a knife to kill other students. Because of that, from now on Mr. Marcus will also supervise Jerry, who has now turned into a delinquent student. Because Jerry doesn't want to fight Buddy, Jerry gives him $350, with the condition that Buddy never invites Jerry to fight. And since the $350 bill was quite a large sum, Buddy finally accepted it. But before leaving, Buddy said that Jerry was really a coward, because he had given up before trying it. After thinking, here Jerry realized that in fact what Buddy said was true. Why did he give up first before trying it? Realizing that, Jerry's courage immediately grew. He approached Buddy and said that now he will accept the challenge from Buddy. Then, at that time, Jerry entered the class with an impolite attitude. Then he took his book and went straight out without caring about Mr. Bobby. After putting his book in the locker, full of courage, Jerry walked out to the parking lot to meet Buddy, who was waiting for him. Arriving there, Jerry found all the students in his school had gathered to watch the fight between him and Buddy. On the other hand, Mr. Marcus, who knows that Jerry and Buddy will fight, comes to the parking lot and intends to take Jerry home. While Buddy was told to wait in his office, seeing Buddy refuse, Mr. Marcus held Buddy's hand and was going to take him to his office. But this made Buddy, who didn't want to be touched, get angry and immediately beat Mr. Marcus until he fainted. Seeing Mr. Marcus being hit once and he fainted, Jerry was horrified. While Franny, who doesn't want Jerry to get beat up by Buddy, challenges Buddy to a duel with her, and with ease, Buddy throws Franny. Then, at that moment, Jerry attacked Buddy from behind. However, unfortunately, Buddy manages to throw Jerry into the car. Just then, Mr. Dolinsky and Duke came, and on a whim, Duke wants to catch Buddy. This made the violent Buddy quickly beat Duke and made him unconscious. This made Mr. Dolinsky immediately run away in fright, while Jerry, who had been thrown into the car, got back up and got into his stance and got ready to beat Buddy. With the martial arts his father taught him as a child, Jerry managed to hit Buddy's nose until it bled. But Buddy counterattacked, causing Jerry to fall. Luckily, when Jerry was about to be beaten up by Buddy, Vincent suddenly came to thwart Buddy, until Buddy's iron ring fell and Jessie picked it up and gave it to her brother, while Buddy, who is angry, beats Vincent back. By using a rivet, Jerry managed to attack Buddy until Buddy fell down. Then, suddenly Franny kisses Jerry. Shortly after, Stallone and two of his men arrived. When the police were about to arrest Buddy, unfortunately Buddy ran away. Then Stallone, who was sure that it was Jerry who had stolen money from the bookstore, intended to interrogate Jerry, but Mr. Marcus, who felt sorry for Jerry, prevented that. According to him, today Jerry has a lot of problems. The next day, many students approached Jerry because they were amazed at Jerry's courage against Buddy. Just then, the students, including Jason, give Jerry money to help him recoup the money at the bookstore he had stolen. When they were busy giving money to Jerry, suddenly Buddy came. This immediately silenced them. Seeing Buddy approaching him, Jerry trembled with fear, because yesterday he won the fight thanks to the help of Vincent and his younger sister. But fortunately, Buddy didn't beat Jerry here. Buddy actually returned the money that Jerry gave him yesterday. Of course, this made Jerry feel relieved, especially when he saw Buddy smiling at him. Shortly after that, Karen arrives and reminds Jerry to come to her birthday party later that night, because on her birthday, Karen will receive Jerry's love. Hearing that, Jerry felt very happy regardless of Franny's feelings. Then at that time, Miss Farmer, who started to like Jerry, came and kissed Jerry in front of other students, making Jerry's friends who saw it hardly believed it. Although Miss Farmer likes him, Jerry prefers Karen, because Karen is the same age as him. While Franny, she finally gave up Jerry to date Karen.